Have you ever witnessed like a paranormal
Oh
event?
yeah, not just the resurrection on my bus, but
Right.
spirits. I've seen people manifest demonic. Just that it's not them speaking; something else is speaking through them.
Rock, metal, prog, and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of Talkin Rock with Meltdown. Don't forget to follow the audio-only Talkin Rock podcast on all podcast platforms. And now, it's time for today's conversation. Here's Meltdown.
So we finally got this all straight. Are you set, Dorothy?
I'm set, I
Okay.
think.
At first you were on your phone, now you're on your personal lap, your personal computer, whatever you're on. So,
I had to take my government "Don't watch me" sticker off my camera.
oh yeah. I do that too sometimes, but then the screen like kind of gets dimmer or something, right?
I put a sticker over my camera on my laptop because when I'm watching Netflix, I don't want somebody watching me. It's
Yeah.
weird.
What are you watching on Netflix? What's good?
Mostly documentaries. I like to learn. I used to watch too much TV as a kid. So now my rule is if I'm going to watch, very rarely is it for entertainment purposes only. But usually it's a documentary or something to learn,
Yeah.
or true crime,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Have you seen any good music documentaries lately? Because I think
Oh yeah.
during the pandemic, I went crazy and watched a bunch of them. What have you seen?
Oh, the Nickelback documentary is amazing.
Yeah, I
It's
saw that.
I mean, I love them. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It takes a special type of warrior spirit to endure the kind of hate that's been heaped upon them, completely unjustified and unfairly, and not kill yourself. I commend all of Nickelback. I don't know if they're ever going to see this interview, but I don't know if I have that kind of thick skin. I'm very sensitive, so hats off to them. And their songs are great. And I've never been to a Nickelback show, but I'll just put that on my bucket list. I'm sure it's fantastic.
all right. Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to send this to their head of security, my friend
All
Jeff.
right.
Make sure it's one way or another. Yeah, I was going to ask you, you ever met them because they are the nicest guys.
I have not. I would love to. I mean, we're all in the same circles, right? So, but yeah, that documentary was great. If you haven't seen it, go watch the Nickelback documentary.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the theater the one day it came out. So
Perfect. I love the theater. I used to work at a movie theater. I was a popcorn girl.
yeah, I've been going to a lot of movies lately. I just saw obviously Deadpool.
Is it out? Because that's bucket list for me. I
Yeah,
want to see that one.
yeah, it came out on Friday. So
Perfect.
if you're a Deadpool fan, you'll love it because it's
Oh yeah.
Deadpool, you know.
Oh, hysterical. I can't wait to go see it.
Yeah, it's good. I think I read that there was like 100 F bombs in it because they were worried that it wasn't going to be R rated, you know, with Disney and stuff buying it, but it's just as bad or just as good, whichever way you look at it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I like to go watch the horror movies as well. Hey, I was thinking about this. Has any of your songs ever appeared in a movie?
Oh yeah, I think so. American Satan had Raise Hell for quite a good scene. I was invited to that red carpet. It was that Ash Avildsen movie with Andy Biersack and Lilith. Shout out to her. She was Juliet Sims back then, but she's Lilith Czar now. And so yeah, my song was in that film, and it's been in a lot of my music's been in a lot of trailers and commercials, and especially trailers for shows like Pretty Little Liars and stuff on Netflix. So it's always nice to get a royalty check from that.
I was gonna say, yeah, the mailbox money.
Right.
Yeah, I one of my friends, he makes a lot of money in this business, but I think he has a check framed up in his on his wall for like 6 cents or something. They just had to send him just to keep and he's like, I'm not even cashing, so I'm just gonna put it on the wall.
That's probably a streaming check.
Exactly. Yeah, I heard you talking about that. Not that long.
Yep.
So
I'm not trying to pick a fight with Spotify. I'm grateful for the platform they give us, all these streaming services, but I do feel artists need to be paid fairly for their work because most people are just going to go for the streaming service rather than buying our CDs and our vinyl. And then we have to go on tour and grind and sell merch and sell tickets. And it should be 50-50. Not even like management commission, like to them, it should be 50-50. Or they take a management cut, like a manager, 20%, but they're taking most of it. And Yeah, I might be a loudmouth. I think the government should legislate on behalf of the artists and make it fair because we've seen a huge dip in our income because of streaming. But then again, you are exposed to a lot more people, but that doesn't necessarily translate into ticket sales. So you got to take the good with the bad.
Right. So, it's funny because a lot of the bands I talk to now, and I was on the radio back when Lars was fighting against Napster, and like, he was kind of on an island by himself, but a lot of the bands that I talked to, they all agree with him now.
Yeah, I remember that. I was a young kid buying CDs over at the local record store during that. And then when Napster came out, we all thought it was cool, and we didn't realize what it was doing to music and what it was doing to artists, you know.
Yeah. I had to get into I had to get in this website saying I forgot my password, and so I had to call the company and blah blah blah. And the password question that they asked me, or no, the question they asked me was, what was the first record you bought, or something like that. So I'll ask you, what was your first record you bought?
Probably The Offspring or Sugar Ray. Wait, let me think. You know what I did? I bought every AFI. I think I bought a bunch of CDs at once because there's this place in Encinitas. It's called Lose Records. I don't know if they're still in business or they might have scaled down, but one side was the record shop where all the new stuff would come in, and then the other side was the used records and used CDs that you could get for a couple bucks. And I'm like, a pre-teeny bopper, and I have a few bucks, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in there, and I bought all the AFI CDs, Audio Slave, Offspring. I think I just kind of stocked up in one go. Creed, Nirvana, all that stuff, and I just began my 90s CD rock journey.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, all that 90s stuff. Yeah. I never saw AFI live in concert, but I saw Davey from the band on stage once with Steel Panther at the
Oh, perfect.
yeah, and it was at when they played in Los Angeles.
House of Blues,
No, it was not at the House of Blues. It was before that. I think
Key Key Club,
it was before that. It was
the
there was I want to say the Troubadour, but that's not it. The Roxy.
the Roxy. I saw Steel Panther at the House of Blues before they tore it down and before when they were called Metal School.
Yeah, I saw him in Metal School. Yeah, that's what they were called. It's like 2004 when I saw him.
It was like the first and only fight I got into when Jerry Cantrell was a guest. And it was so stupid. I was with my friend and some drunk girl shoved us. So, me being me, I turned around and I'm like, what the hell? And she threw her vodka soda in my face and I was blinded. So I took a blind swing at her and I cracked her in the side of the head. But, lucky for me, the security guard saw everything. He saw that she started it. And I was like, he saw her throw the drink. And her boyfriend was like, I'm so sorry. But I've been that girl a few times, back in my wild party days probably. So she got kicked out and rightfully so.
Yeah. And that was
At a metal school show. That's
have you
It
ever
was a good night.
have you ever had a chance to sing on stage with them?
No, I haven't. I would totally do that.
Yeah. They got some great videos out there with some celebrities you wouldn't think would go on stage with them.
Kelly Clarkson had a good night. Yeah, I don't remember. It was Jerry Cantrell. He was there that night, and I've seen them a few times, and I don't remember who came up on stage. It's a pretty raunchy show, but Ralph's got a killer voice.
Yes, he's awesome. He's a great singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me that around his house he's got kids. This was a few years back. He's like, they listen to a lot of pop music, so I'm kind of like always, submerged by pop singers.
Yeah.
That helps him, I guess. Well, yeah, I saw David Draymond one time walking around the House of Blues in Vegas, maybe about 9 years ago. I said, hey, David, are you going to go sing with the band? He goes, hell no. And he was singing Pour Some Sugar on Me like an hour later. So
He's also got a killer voice, man. He's great.
he does. Hey, you just mentioned Jerry Cantrell. Is Elliot from your band out on tour with him, or did I read that?
Yes, Elliot, my bass player, is out with Jerry Cantrell.
That's what I thought. Now,
Sure, he's having a great time.
is he from here? Is he the one from Detroit?
No, I think that was Eli Wolfmeyer back on my second album cycle. I think he's from Detroit Rock City. Elliot's from Torrance, and Jake is from Indiana, and Sam is from Missouri.
Okay.
So we're from all over the place. I'm from San Diego.
So who's going to play bass for you now?
Elliot,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. But when he has like gig, I get it. If I have a one-off and I'm just doing a fly date and he's on a tour, he can either sub and fly in, or we sub him with Matt McJunkins or Nick Annis. We're all friends and they swap sometimes. So I know the musicians have to, make money and keep the gigs going. So I get it.
Yeah, they got an earn limit too. I know I saw that you have some shows coming up. One of them was in Harris, Michigan. I'm like, oh, cool, Harris, Michigan. Where's that? And that's like all the way over by Wisconsin. So I probably won't see you that day.
I was just in Wisconsin not that long ago.
Well, maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Maybe that's what it.
I've been doing a radio tour. I've been promoting the new single Mud, and I've been hanging out with my friends in Creed and just hopping off the bus and uh, hitting the radio stations. So yeah, I don't know what show is Harris, but we have the Escanaba, we
That's
have the
that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
that's the one, Escanaba, Michigan. We have the UP State Fair coming up August 16th, and then August 31st, we're opening for Creed in San Bernardino. And then I got two shows in October with Godsmack. And the State Fair, actually, we're playing with Fuel. So I'm
Okay.
in great company. I'm very excited about these shows.
Yeah, no question. The guys from Creed and Three Doors are in town tonight, and unfortunately, I got my motorcycle night, so I won't be able to go up and see them. But I'm so happy for those guys putting it back together. What a great band! And you're just talking about Nickelback, and Creed started to get a little bit of that treatment as well. And then they kind of split up and did their whole thing. But they were kind of almost like the Nickelback of the '90s to a certain degree.
Well, you wouldn't know it because their shows are massive and sold out, and it's young kids. It's like young, it's a younger demographic too. A lot of them, it's their first show. I caught a couple of the shows. It's fantastic. So if you haven't seen Creed, go catch them. They're on tour. It's amazing. Super positive, just great music. Scott obviously sounds insane. Mark is shredding, and they have a lot of pyro. So.
Yeah, you got to have pyro. Yeah. So you just mentioned a little while ago the Warrior Spirit. So the new single Mud is out right now, and to me, that's a song that it's like you got to go out and do things. I had somebody tell me years ago, go put yourself in front of things that make you a little bit uncomfortable, and that kind of seems to be what that song kind of entails.
Yeah, definitely. You got to dig deep, and you just got to tell the voices in your head of doubt and I can't do it or I'm not good enough to shut up and do it anyway. You feel the fear, it's part of life, and you got to dig deep and tap into that. That's kind of what that song is about. Because otherwise, you're just on autopilot. What are you actually accomplishing? What are you doing with your life? If you're not looking for your purpose, then you're just kind of floating around, and everyone's potential is so untapped and so vast. I hope it inspires people to do that.
Looking back, did you think that you would be at this point in your career, or was this kind of like a pipe dream for a younger Dorothy?
I can't believe I'm still like hanging on. I can't believe we've been touring for 10 years. I'm on my fourth album. I mean, I love making music. I love singing. I love writing. No, I just kind of pray and hang on.
Yeah. So with this record, of course, Mud is a pretty heavy song. So tell me about the rest of it, which, by the way, is called The Way. What does that title imply?
The way I got, you know what? I'm a Christian. We're not a Christian band, but I have my faith, and I was just praying about it, and I was like, God, will you just name my album? Because I couldn't think of anything. And I'm reading the Bible, and it was the Road to Damascus experience with Saul, where he gets struck with blindness, and Jesus speaks to him, and he said, Saul, why do you persecute me? And and he gives him a message and a purpose, and then the next town he goes to, he gets healed miraculously and receives his sight back. But he was persecuting all those that didn't belong to the way. And when I read that, I got chills all over my body. I got so emotional. Something touched me in my heart, in my spirit, and I highlighted it and I go, that's my album title. And then I took that title, The Way, and I talked about it with Scott Stevens and Blair Daly and Zach Malloy and Marty Fredrickson, the Four Horsemen. And Blair wrote this beautiful song called The Way, which is a ballad on the album. But that's all I can say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it.
All right. Now, the last record, Gifts from the Holy Ghost, I was just listening to that again today because you know how much I like that record. And just the way it ends with the title track and stuff. So are we looking at something kind of similar?
Yeah, this is actually a heavier record. And we really tapped into that southern rock, swampy, a little bit of country. Not, I wouldn't call it, I would say it's southern tinged.
Hmm.
But it's got heavy, hard rock songs. It's got a beautiful ballad. It's got some surprising Mud was actually the wild card. It's got a trap beat, and Stevens was like, hey, I want to play you something. I'm not sure if you're going to like it. And we were in the studio and it was towards the end of making the record, and he played it for me, and I was like, why didn't you show me this sooner? Like, I was jumping up and down. I had this reaction, so it's a great song to work out to run to party to. It's like, I feel like it's a summer party rock workout anthem. And it was weird because it's got the trap beat, and I ended up screaming on accident. So we just threw everything in it.
Yeah, everything in the kitchen sink. Yeah. So you mentioned a few minutes ago how you're a Christian and stuff, but we've talked about this before. And I don't know if I was the first person that you brought this up to an interview years ago, but that night on the bus where
Hmm.
where one of your crew guys OD'd and he came he
Yeah.
came back to life. Looking back on that, how much did that change your life?
Uh, like 180. By the way, that's the best interview I've ever done to this day.
Thank you. Yeah, it was
It
fantastic.
was really
Fucking
special, and it was a real experience. And I know, and I get crap from people, but I get a lot of people who understand, who are believers. And I think that night I had a real encounter with the Holy Spirit. And at the time, I didn't know it was the Holy Spirit, but now I do because I've become more educated in my journey. I've come a little further in my journey in my walk with God. So I didn't get saved until I went to rehab in 2020. I checked in on Halloween, and I had another radical encounter with the Holy Spirit there. And when God calls you, God calls you, like some people, God just calls them. Some people are searching. I just know that if you search and you reach out, you'll get an answer. It might be immediately, it might take some time. And after that night on the bus, I knew, because I had prayed the night before, God, if you're real, please show me. And he did. And I wasn't a Christian, I wasn't saved, but I knew without a shadow of a doubt, because of that, of what I had experienced, that God was real. And that was a very tangible experience. So we're all on a journey, and the story's unfolding. And as I've come further in it, I've learned a lot more. So
Yeah, that was an interview I'll never forget.
good.
The hair on my arms is standing up just thinking about it.
That's how I felt that night. I was like, what did we just witness? I had multiple people with me, and they witnessed it and felt it too. So it was extremely powerful, life-changing.
Now, I've asked you about sobriety before, and you never gave me a date or anything like that, but you just did. So, is that kind of stuff like, I don't know? Is that, well? Why are you doing it now? I'm just curious.
Doing sobriety?
No, no, I think I asked you one time how long you've been
Oh,
so.
that's the way. Well, I went to rehab in 2020, and that's when I actually picked up the Bible and got saved. So, and then I came home and did the whole baptism thing, and yeah, it's just been a kind of a learning experience since then. Listen, when you give your life to God, you're a threat to the darkness, and so it's not necessarily all rainbows and butterflies. We're in spiritual warfare. I think everyone can kind of sense it on some level. What's happening in the spirit is playing out in the natural and in the physical world. So we're in a fight. It's not always easy, and but I try to take it one day at a time, stay surrendered to God, stay away from ego and pride. I'm just a human being. I'm just a messenger. I try to be a vessel for the Holy Spirit and do, the will of God, and plant messages that will help people in the songs that I write. I'm not preaching to you. I'm not trying to convert anybody. You all have free will. You can choose to do what you want, but I do want to encourage people to live a better way, because there is a better way. And life's not easy. We all have challenges and battles, but we have hope, and we have, a creator that cares about us.
And that's the kind of stuff that you think people will grasp onto when they hear the way for the first time?
I think that you know what, here, I had a crazy experience one time. I was driving on the freeway, and I kept seeing these signs on the freeway flashing, if you're tired, pull over. And I wasn't. I was like, I'm not tired. But I saw it a second time, and then I saw it a third time, and I felt a nudge from the Holy Spirit to pull off and go, take a rest. And I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to like an Amazon grocery store, and I walked in, and there's music playing over the loudspeakers. And I think it was Bonnie Raitt, Love Sneaking Up on You. You know that song?
Vague, yeah.
I went in the bathroom, and the lyrics became it was like God highlighted the lyrics to me. It was magnified. It was like he was speaking to me through the song. and I felt the presence, I felt the love, I felt like he was telling me I love you, and he was also kind of telling me this is what I'm going to do for people with your music, to kind of give me a broader understanding of why I'm here, what this music's about, what it's used for, because you can use it for bad and you can use it for good. You can use it to encourage people to abuse drugs and alcohol and be violent, or you can use it to encourage people to seek a better way, or to tell them that you love them, or that they're loved, or that there's hope, or encourage them, or so I got a understanding of the bigger responsibility when it comes to being a songwriter and a musician, and that was a really special experience. He's like, this is what I'm going to do with you and your music, and touch people. So I think what will happen is some of those lyrics will resonate with certain people, and a seed will be planted, and they'll get a message, and they'll hear something that they need to hear.
It seems like you're that you really opened up and you're sensitive to that kind of stuff. Like,
It sucks, dude. Like, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I signed up for this. I was like, just go ahead and use me. Let's go. But yes, it's a sensitivity to, I guess the spirit realm and some things like that. It's not always fun, you know. There is darkness, and when you're sensitive like I am, you feel all of it, and sometimes you see it too.
I was gonna say, have you ever witnessed like a paranormal event?
Oh yeah, yes, actually, many, not just the resurrection on my bus, but
Right.
spirits. I've seen people manifest demonic, just that it's not them speaking, something else is speaking through them at that point, because you know the person, and when you're sensitive and you have eyes to see and you can discern that, it's wild. So, life is so much more interesting than like movies and television. What's actually real and what you start to learn and pay attention to is so much more crazy and interesting. So yeah, I have seen some weird paranormal stuff.
That is crazy. Like, so I've gone on, several ghost hunts. Next time you come to Detroit, we can take you to places if you'd like.
Hell no, I'll do an exorcism though.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go hunting for ghosts, but if someone needs help, I mean, I'll pray for them. My best friend is legitimately an exorcist. That's what she does. She does deliverance ministry. And so if you want to know more about that, her name is Courtney Kathleen. She does podcasts and stuff, and she's in some pretty amazing circles, and it's a real it's a real thing. I don't know what else to tell everybody. It's real.
Okay, so have you seen an exorcism before?
I've I've been in an exorcism before.
No kidding. Wow.
I've had deliverance myself, and it's not something I really talk about, but I guess I would say I'm a satanic ritual abuse survivor light, very light, watered down version of it. However, the cases that she takes are really severe, and it's not a joke. These are cult survivors, people that have been ritually abused by generational in their family, and it really messes them up. And so it's they try everything. You know, they try psychotherapy, therapy, drugs, alcohol, counseling, and when that doesn't help, then you have to start looking at the spiritual component, and that's what she does. And I'm so proud of her because I've witnessed it with my own eyes. It's pretty amazing, and if you're interested in that kind of stuff, there's a lot of great books you can read on it, and there's a lot of great pastors out there teaching about it.
So we were just talking about movies and stuff. Are you a horror movie fan or no?
I used to be. I don't really watch it anymore, just because, you know, it's just not, I don't resonate with it anymore. I'm like, I want to know stuff about why the world is the way that it is. My cat is meowing. I'm sorry. I don't know if you could.
I was wondering what that was.
He wants food and he's fat, so he's not getting any. Um, so I go more for the knowledge stuff, you know, the documentaries and why the world is the way it is. And sometimes I'll watch podcasts. Sometimes I watch weird fringy podcasts. Like there's the Confessionals, really good. I don't know if you know anything about it, but they talk about all sorts of paranormal stuff on the Confessionals.
No kidding. I have a podcast called Haunted Michigan, and it's just basically I talk to paranormal people around Michigan or people that have done stuff in Michigan. So it's kind of cool. There's a lot of stuff that goes on here.
I know. I bet. Massachusetts too. A lot of the East Coast has a lot of because there's so much history.
Right, right. So going back to this record here, because we could talk about paranormal and stuff for a long time. But going back to this record, I see that you kind of I don't know, you kind of change your image a little bit. The heavy metal cowgirl, is that like kind of the picture I've been seeing? I've been hearing you compare it to.
Well, yes, the black hair is gone. And you know, every album cycle I do try to experiment a little bit, but I think we kind of stuck to the DNA. I mean, I have always had a little bit of that Southern rock. If you go back to Rock is Dead, Gun in My Hand has that slide guitar, has that swampy sound. And I had Scott Stevens produce the whole record, and I wrote with him and a bunch of other great people in Nashville. And Bailey Zimmerman, who's a killer country artist, wrote with Gavin, one of his writers, and Kylie Sackley and Marty Fredrickson. So I do really like Nashville. I might be spending some more time there. But we did keep, you know, we didn't abandon our rock fans. There's actually heavier stuff on this record than any of my previous records.
Any collabs? I know you know obviously you've done
Yeah.
it with Scott Stapp and Slash, but is there collaborations on this record?
Yes, there is, but I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Okay.
Not yet. We got to save something.
All right, so the record drops in the fall, but you don't have a date yet?
Don't have a date, drops in the fall. And Mud is out right now. You can download it. You can go watch the lyric video just dropped today. And there's a visualizer, so enjoy.
So wait a second, one collaboration or multiple?
On my record, there's one feature, and there might be more in the future. And obviously, you all know about, you know, Walls with If These Walls Could Talk with Scott Stapp. You know, praying hopefully we'll be able to sing that live together. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, I'll tell you what, Dorothy, it's always a pleasure to talk with you, and we'll see you next time you're here in Detroit. I was thinking about this Riff Fest, I think was the last time you were here.
Yes, yes, that was a good one.
By the way, I went in my daughter's room because they're on vacation, and I'm building this closet thing for her birthday, you know, and she knows all about it. There's a few pictures of you and her and my other daughter as well on the wall. So I was kind of
Oh,
so
tell your daughter I said hi. That's so sweet.
absolutely. Well, Dorothy, thank you so much for the time.
Oh, thank you. It's my pleasure.